All right. This is Mongolian Mindset, and today we are typing Tyler. We're going to, this is all about you, Tyler. We're just listening and whatever you say, we will write down and correspond. Um, Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name's Tyler. I'm 28, from Utah. Actually currently living in Oklahoma. A big believer in Jesus. Love skateboarding. Love going to the gym. Anything outdoors is great. I'm about to start a trucking career here soon. Just got my CDL a couple weeks ago. Graduated from a CDL school about a month ago, and yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
Perfect, man. So how'd you get interested in typology?
So back in 2020, I had some friends asking me to take the test, and I just was like, I didn't really want to take the test, honestly. I actually saw some recommendeds from on YouTube of like videos of talking about like INFJs and stuff, and like how do you know if you're like the world's rarest type and stuff. And I was like, that's definitely not something I really would care about. Like I was kind of interested, but at the same time, I was like, like I'm not really into like finding out like if I'm the rarest type, because some people are like when they think like I'm the rarest type, it kind of goes to their head or whatever. So I just didn't really want to fall into that. But a month or two later, my friend actually brought it up and he said I should take the test, and I didn't take the test for like a couple weeks after he told me. But I ended up taking the test, the 16 personality assessment test, and I got INFJ,
Mhm.
and read into it, and I was like, okay, this kind of sounds like me. It was pretty kind of crazy. And it wasn't until I actually started studying the cognitive functions that I found out I was a different type.
Mhm.
And I was looking into other people's videos on the INFJ, and I was like, they definitely don't. I could relate to them, but they definitely were not like me. There were some things that I could relate to, but overall, it was like they were really soft in my eyes, very like docile, very quiet. And after a while, it was like I just started like seeing the patterns of everything, and I was like, that just doesn't really, I don't really resonate with that anymore. So that's whenever I started looking into cognitive functions, and then I stumbled across a personality type that I was studying, and I was like, dude, it just resonated with me 100%.
Mhm.
And I just was like, that's my type. And
Mhm.
that was about 3 months after finding out I was an INFJ. And then stuck with that type for the next 3 years, and then started doubting my own type. And so I looked into people who, uh, uh, well, practitioners that interview people, and uh, paid for one. I actually thought I was an ENTJ after a while, and actually, that was actually one that I went back and forth on quite a bit. Thought I was an ENTP for a little bit too. Um, Maybe ESFP as well, but yeah, mostly it was not. It just kept circling back around to the one that I found after I thought I was an INFJ. And
So,
so, yeah,
so where do you see yourself in 10 years?
in 10 years,
Mhm.
um, in 10 years, I'll be 38. Shoot, let's see. I don't know. I hope to have my own business. Hope to have my own business, have kids. I'm married, and I do have a stepdaughter, but no kids of my own yet. And
Mhm.
so I definitely plan on having my own kids and a business. Honestly, man, I'm a big faith guy, so anywhere where the Lord leads me. So if I ever decide that I want to do a business, I always pray and say God's will be done.
Mhm.
I always got to put God's will first.
Dope.
How do you go about learning new things?
It's so funny because these are the questions I hear you guys asking other people. And I always thought to myself, uh, how the heck would I answer that question? And how do I go about learning things? I honestly just Google a lot of stuff, and yeah, I just look through sources. I mean, it's a lot of Google, YouTube.
How do you know what you're finding is accurate?
What is that again? I'm sorry.
I said, how do you know what you're finding on your searches? How do you know it's accurate or trust?
I go through multiple sources. I'm not just trusting one source. I have to go through multiple sources. And if they're credible sources, then yeah, I'll be more inclined to just stick to that source. But if I don't know the source and where it's coming from, then I gotta keep, doing more research.
Do you have a favorite sport?
Skateboarding.
Skateboarding.
Yeah, I skateboarded since I was 12, so I'm pretty good. My brother. Well, first off, so when I was 8, I started to. It most likely was my brother, most likely, even when I was 8. Me and my cousin, we got a skateboard, Target skateboard, and it was really crappy. And tried to learn how to ollie on that thing, and I couldn't do it after like a month. So I basically stopped skateboarding. And my grandparents actually raised me, and they raised me in baseball. And so that's basically what I was doing from t-ball up to 7th grade. And it wasn't until about 6th grade that I really was I actually got my first professional skateboard and really tried to go hard on it and tried to learn once I got that board at the same time while I was still doing baseball. But
oh shit, you got broken up.
This is one of the things that I go back to in my mind when it comes to like seeing if whether I'm pragmatic. My grandparents wanted me to, and because it made them, I felt like it made them happy. And my cousin, she actually, and she's she was like 3 years older than me. They paid more attention to her because she was in like the comp leagues and everything, and I was in recreational, so like it was definitely a lot more paid towards her. But I just was like, I started right after I started skateboarding, getting good, and so I really never wanted to tell my grandparents I didn't want to play baseball anymore. So we were at the batting cages one time, and his dad there, my grandpa,
Yo, you're breaking up.
and his dad
Yo, we can't hear you. You're breaking up, man.
talking, and I just shot at my grandpa, like he could hear. I knew it, like he was gonna hear it. I was like, "Yeah, I don't really want to play skateboard. I don't really want to play baseball anymore. I got a skateboard." And my grandpa heard that, never said anything to me. Told my cousin, and he was not just my cousin, but he was talking about it, and my cousin heard, and he wasn't happy. He never told me anything, but he actually pulled me out of baseball, and just started skateboarding from then on. Going to the skate park by myself, hanging out with my friends, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Okay. What would be something you think you would go to jail for?
Well, I mean, I don't see myself really going to jail in my later years here, honestly. But back in the day, it would have been for drugs.
Drugs.
Yeah, yeah, man, I used to do drugs back in the day. I don't really feel like I have to go into specifics, but I tried to deal some stuff and everything for a little bit, but it wasn't really it was mostly like I didn't know where to actually find my own values and everything. So, which is cool that you guys get a lot of people who believe in Jesus on here. I think that's awesome. I think it's awesome because one, I think a lot of people, not just because people are looking for themselves. People are trying to find themselves.
Yeah.
And the MBTI, I think, gives them a clear perspective on themselves. I do believe that it's like knowing yourself is way greater than the cognitive functions, but the cognitive functions definitely give people an outline to what makes them tick.
Yeah. I think the best thing about type is that you're able to understand your weaknesses, and like Dario Nardi has
Mhm.
the seventh and eighth function usually ends up being to some degree your demise later on in life. So
Yeah.
you really want to watch those the seventh and eighth function. I try to watch, my SI, but dude, it's hard for me to really watch it. It's always on the go. And then I really try to worry about my relationships and shit, but it's just me, man. Like my friends
Well,
know that.
can you hear me?
Huh?
It's just sorry, breaking up.
Yeah, it's all good. Like, my friends know, for instance, like if they do something, I'm just usually gonna cuss them slap the fuck out. Like I just cuss people straight out. Like they know. Like my buddy, like my cousin was saying, like I was talking to some girl last night. Like you better not interrupt him, because if you interrupt him, he gonna cuss you the fuck out. Like it's just like that's my response to everything. Like when people irritate me, it's just like I just rip their ass right then and there. Like I don't even care. But I'm trying to work on that. You know,
Oh,
try,
okay.
trying to be more patient.
People that interrupt you piss you off?
But not interrupt me. It's like they know I'm trying to do something, and like you come over there with something stupid, like for no
Oh,
reason, then like yeah, I'm gonna be pissed. Like don't interrupt me when I get started, on something. Like please don't interrupt me when I get started on something. But then like I might, I don't know, especially like when it comes to certain situations or like certain things, it's like damn, don't interrupt me once I'm started. If you're gonna ask me anything or do anything, get to me before I fucking start. Like do not interrupt.
man. I don't know what you do for work, but I worked for FedEx for like 3 years, and that's also not a job where I've looked back at my type and have typed myself based on how I reacted during my time with FedEx, and that was a big frustrator for me. Was when I would set up my route and everything, and I would be expecting to start to end at a certain time of day, and then certain things like get in the way, like people pull out in front of me, slowing me down. People aren't at the doors to sign for their package, so I gotta wait. And things like that, and that was definitely a big frustrator. So I hear you there.
Yeah.
Inconveniences.
It's crazy. Yeah. So, what's three things someone would say about you? 3 words.
Oh man, 3 things. This is another one. Bro, I don't know. I mean, I feel like when it comes to like what people would say about me, I don't know, man. I feel like I come off as intimidating sometimes, and I don't try to be. Um, so I guess intimidating, which sounds really bad, but uh, confident, I guess, and knowledgeable.
I'm getting knowledgeable. Okay.
Yeah.
What's your what's one of your biggest fears?
Biggest fears? Um, hmm. This is one that I don't want to just pop off and say something, because like I've studied types so well that I know like what fears are in each type and stuff, and I'm just like I try to like be super objective as I can without trying to tailor my answer to a certain type. I don't know. I think maybe rejection, um being unforgiven, like unforgiveness, like with God, dude. I feel like my biggest fear would be like being unforgiven. When I was growing up as a kid, um my fear, like, you know how in 2012 the world was supposed to end, like December 23rd, 2012, the Mayan calendar and everything, like it stopped and everybody thought like that's when the world was supposed to end. That really scared the crap out of me because I grew up in a Christian home, so I knew about Jesus. I just never followed him, and I just knew it was like, dude, I knew I was going to hell at some point. Like if I was to die, I knew I was going to hell, and that was that was my biggest fear was going to hell.
Why do you think you would go to hell though, man?
Being a bad person. That's how I thought. That's what I thought then. Now, people aren't going to go to hell because they're bad, or they're not going to go to heaven because they're good. It's whether or not you believe in Jesus Christ.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, as long as you accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior.
I know, but it's so shallow in that way too, because that's like that's the you know, the Western, huh?
Too easy, right? It sounds like it's too easy, right?
It's like, yeah, well, it is, bro. That's the thing. That's what throws people off. It's the simple gospel message is Jesus Christ died for your sins, and if you believe in him and you know, put your trust in him, it's not just going to heaven someday though. That's the issue that Western culture pushes to people is if you die tonight, you know, where do you think you're gonna go? You know, if you're not sure, then come and say this prayer. And then what it does is it leaves people, you know, I believe that people get filled with the Spirit, but it leaves people living like hell until they get there. You know, they live like hell on earth until they get to heaven, and that ain't the abundant life that Jesus promised.
I always thought I thought about it from a perspective. I came up with this idea, and here's the thing I thought about. Like, so I prayed this one time that God would forgive me for my sins every 0.1 of a second. So that's kind of like a glitch.
Okay.
Like I prayed that like God would forgive me every 0.1 of a second for whatever I've done. So no matter what, at the end of the day, I'll be forgiven, you know, every 0.1.
Well, are you a believer, bro?
Yeah, I believe, but I am a sinner. I'm not gonna sit here and play with you. I do sin a lot, but I try to do the right things sometimes, man. But
Broham, this is what's funny because this is what I was telling you about how I believe, like, you know, type is an outline to how a person ticks and stuff, but it ain't the full picture. I have my own theories built up around MBTI as well, and you know, and it's based around the gospel. Like honestly, like I believe that God actually showed me my type and the MBTI and the cognitive functions and stuff, and I look at it like, you know, it's too much of a coincidence for there to be so many similarities in all of this. It's too much of a coincidence because it's such a pattern in people's behavior and stuff that you can literally type anybody. And for me, that just goes to show intelligent design. You know, you got your like your ESTJs and stuff, and like they're like the managers and everything. And we need the managers. We need you know, those bosses. But then you got like your grunts, you know, like your ISTPs, ESTPs, your I mean, ENTJs could be a grunt, but they would most likely work their way up to like commanders and everything. And then you got your office types, which would be like the INTJs, ISTJs. I'm probably missing a few other ones, but which it just goes to show, like, you know, these are where people's callings are. Like that's one thing too, is what I saw in the personality types is like you can find your calling within the personality type system too, where you're good at as well as where you're bad at. Yeah, but I just seen that, like, you know, with the 16 personalities, you know, there's 7 colors in the rainbow. And, you know, it comes from one source and it's light. And it's not until it's shown through a medium that it actually refracts and you can see all the different colors. And that's the same thing I saw with MBTI is like you're not going to get a full picture by studying one type. You're going to get the like of God. You're not going to get the full picture of God by just studying one type. Like you got to get all the types in there, and that makes up the image of God. And that's where I also saw like how important relationship is and community with each type. Like there may be types that are more hard to get along with, but it's just because you haven't, seen the world the way that they have their whole life. But there's always, if you're humble and you recognize that, and you can learn from them. Every single type. There isn't a type that you can't get along with. It's just humbling yourself to see how they see things. And that's how you see God. I mean, it's in the face of Jesus Christ 100%. It's just, that's kind of how I got into it in a deeper way, was like seeing all of this stuff and being like, dude, like, I'm just seeing God that much more in life, which is great,
I think I think everyone kind of goes to God in their own different way. I've always kind of felt like there's always been like this force of energy that's kind of always been around. So to me, I felt it always easy to know that God was here. Just of that alone. And then a lot of things that happened in my life. I feel as though a lot of it couldn't be written in a book. It went so picture perfect, and how things just came, or like things that I was hoping or wanting just appeared in my life. So I've always had this sense of God, even as a kid. I really heavy, so I kind of for a long time I kind of walked away from religion, but I always felt this force of energy just being around or whatnot. Like it's almost like watching or something. Might be.
Yes, bro. It's because you're his child, man.
But hey, some people say no, some people say yes. I don't really care. That's just always been that's my thinking. That God, and he has a specific path for everyone to walk down.
Yep.
I think to him, everyone's paths are equal. They're equal.
Well, are you talking about like Oprah Winfrey type equal, or what?
I'm thinking about equal as in you might change the world. This person wasn't meant to change the world, but to God, it's all the same. Then, it's all the same. I don't think he values the person who, he values the person who doesn't do great things. They're all the same in his eyes. You get what I'm saying? Like even if you're a pencil pusher versus the CEO.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's all the same.
Like a stay-at-home mom, bro. That can be somebody's calling.
Yeah.
Like there isn't a better. I think that's what you're getting at. Is like there isn't a better calling than another, or there isn't like anything insignificant when it comes to God's calling. I don't know. I agree.
I think everyone has their own
journey.
Yeah, I'd say journey or path, whatever road that they travel. Better than anyone else's. You just sit back and try to be the best you can on your destination. That's my thoughts on that.
There's a lot to learn, man.
Shelly, are you
There's
there?
so much to learn.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Sitting here.
You're not on.
Waiting for y'all to finish up the conversation.
Just waiting for us to shut up. Just kidding.
Your camera's not on, Shelly.
Oh. Yeah.
Anything you want to ask him?
All right, we can move on.
I was gonna say, what do you think are the three biggest problems with humanity?
Obviously, bro. I mean, since I'm a believer, dude, sin is number one biggest problem with humanity.
It's all good. So we get off of it, you go right back to it.
Well, dude, hey, man,
It's all good, man.
So before Jesus, dude, I had no value system. I had no care for what the world's biggest problems were.
Mhm.
But now I know, because the way he changed my life, dude, that's why I'm so brainwashed with all of this.
Mhm.
Is because I used to be so depressed. I used to be so angry all the time. I
Mhm.
used to, I mean, I wouldn't even say to the point of suicidal or anything, but I mean, I did whatever I could to be able to get away from the feelings of depression and
Mhm.
to feel happy. But so yeah, sin is the number one cause of humanity's problems, and it's deeper than just like, you can't hear it from a religious lens, otherwise you won't understand.
Mhm.
But two, I would say, is the lack of love. That is definitely 100% humanity's problems, and the lack of understanding.
Um, what what is the most important thing you want to accomplish in life?
Hmm. Oh man, I mean, it comes back to myself, but like for me, it's I want to look like Jesus at the very end of my life. I want to be able to, know that when I die, my life was formed by the grace of God. My life was formed into the image of Christ, and I left um, a legacy, I guess. Funny. I mean, I wouldn't even want to say legacy as much as like, because I really don't understand the word legacy. Um, it would just be like, what was the question? One more time.
Oh, the most important thing you want to accomplish in life.
Oh man, shoot. Sounds very simple and everything. It's just telling other people about Jesus, to be honest. That is, I mean, anything else is just a bonus. I mean, I would say like I'd like to have a business and everything. That's what I'm trying to do. And I honestly think that the trucking industry is going to be something I can get into building a business in. I have had other businesses. It's just they have not gone the way I've wanted them to. And the reason for that is just I think a lack of persistence on my end.
Okay. Um, how do you feel about being told what to do?
Yeah. Depends. I mean, I don't mind being told what to do as long as like I know that there's a point and a purpose into it. But it's like, obviously, if it's this the spirit behind the person telling me what to do is like just telling me what to do because they're angry or because they don't like me or whatever, then yeah, that's obviously gonna kind of irk me a little bit. But being told what to do, like, hey man, you need to go over here and get these boxes. All right, cool, no problem. Like, I understand that's the job I need to do. But yeah, it depends on like the spirit behind the person coming at me saying that.
How do you how do you know what someone says is true?
Shoot. I mean, I like these questions. How do I know what?
You said,
Can you give me an example?
Okay, so if you don't have any knowledge about something and you ask somebody a question and they give you an answer, how would you determine what they told you if that
Well,
were
I'd have,
true?
okay.
And would it?
All right. It brings up a time with me. I was working at this call center, and I worked for AT&T customer retention, and we had mentors walking around. If you ever needed help, you just raise your hand or whatever when you're on a call. But we also had our own tools, and those tools like MyCSP, that would be basically you could type pretty much anything in there and that has to pertain with that job, and it could find it for you. Anything that anything that a customer had when it came to a question or anything concern, you could find it in there. But it was so much information to dig through that it's just easier to raise your hand and ask a mentor if they already knew. But I was known as that guy that would doubt the information given to me from a mentor. It was honestly, for me, it was like I already knew the answer. It was just kind of I needed clarification. I needed like a second input. Like, hey, is this something that we can do for the customer? And if they start telling me stuff and it doesn't sound right, I'm gonna be like, okay, how do you know? Basically, and I'm gonna question it. And I was cool with everybody there. It's just some mentors, they didn't like coming over to me and to help me, just because I would question their answers a lot. Like, how do you know? How do you know?
How comfortable are you in social situations with people you don't know?
I am pretty good. I would say that I'm more like quiet at first. Just because like I'm just getting a feel for the room and everything, and a feel for everybody, I guess. Man, I feel like everybody does that though. I feel like, yeah, there's some people that they go in there and they're just like, ready to go. But I don't know. Um, I'm more just filling out the room, and I like to hear everybody else's thoughts first, just to see where they're at in their understanding before I speak.
All right, man. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and Taylor, you done?
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Okay, man. So first when you first got into the conversation, you start talking about your CDL license or whatever. That's gonna
Okay.
slap your TFI there. Um, you said you always do. I saw this, I saw that, I did this, I did that. That's an SI perspective. That's a first person. Um, about what I care about. You said that earlier. That's TFI again, more on the FI. When asked about the MBTI, you kind of went on a progression or a journey. Then you went back to I was doing this, I was doing that. That's SI again. Patterns of everything. That's NE, and that's abstract. Have my own business. That's more of a TFI approach. I'm a big faith guy, so that's a SI. Again, and you gave yourself a title, faith guy. That's TFI again. You talked about credible sources when she asked you about the truth. She didn't. I think Shelley forgot that she asked you that question twice now. How you know something's true, and he said the credible sources and whatnot going through there. That's TFI again.
What, ESTJ?
No, we'll keep going. Talking
Right.
about what other people thought. That's TFI again. My own theory. That's abstract again. Similarities and patterns in people. That's abstract, and NE again. Patterns refract within the colors. That's abstract yet again. Importance with relationship and community. That's affiliative. People need to see the world through different eyes or different way. You talked about like people just don't see how other people's way or whatnot. That's an any approach. You said sin, understanding, and love was things that you thought was wrong with the world. I like to hear everyone's thoughts before you do anything. That's a TE approach. Again, based off that, do your ENFP.
Shut up.
Yeah, ENFP.
Yeah, that is definitely far away from what I thought.
What'd you get?
That is far away from, well, I mean, not far away, I guess. It's still within the same, because I also listen to a lot of C.S. Joseph. And that would be still in the same, the Soul Temple quadra.
What'd you get?
I thought I was an ESTP.
ESTP? Dude, you're informative.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know what's funny?
You're informative AF, dude. Like I'm not even kidding, dude. You're so informative. Like it's not even
I'm
that.
so informative.
Yeah, dude, you're like super informative. Like you're giving extra information, just extra information. You can literally just talk, 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 talk. Like it was
That is so funny. My
uh
uncle told me that one time, and that's one thing that threw me off. Was he told me that um he told me I talked to him about a year ago or so, and he told me that uh you always love to talk, man. You've always loved to talk. And I was told whenever I was younger, because like I would be like, waiting for everybody to talk and stuff just to see where they're at. And then like my cousin's older friends, when they would come over, like I was this little kid, right? And I would just be like, I would like whenever they wouldn't talk to me, but as soon as they started talking to me, that's whenever I was like I started to like open up and I was like just
yeah.
talking all the
So
time.
just then, that's all SIs that you just said. So SEs
For real, I could see that.
yeah, SEs all talks about what other people are doing all the time. When it goes to a memory or whatnot, you're talking about a first person perspective every time you talk, dude. Like even just that, just even that little story you just went on just there, that's all SI there. So
Well,
yeah.
yeah, it's funny because whenever yeah.
Yeah, ESTP would literally be beating the shit out of SE. Like they would practically never talk from a first person perspective because they're SE hero. Um, so yeah,
Really?
yeah.
They don't ever talk from a first person. See, that's the thing is
They,
like that's one thing. But
so they do, but it's all about the pattern. So the pattern would be most of the time they'd be talking about what other people are doing. Or like when they remember things, they'd be like, well, Jake was doing this and Jake was doing that, and then I did this. Like you're like all about your first person perspective, like on everything. It's first person. So that's all SI,
well,
man.
the only reason I feel like the reason why is because I'm in an interview.
Well, yeah, but
Like I gotta talk about myself.
yeah, but go check the other videos, man. Go check like the other
Yeah.
like INTJs, ENTJ videos, and they're always talking about what other people are doing. Like it's cut and paste, man. And then ESTP, I mean ESTP talking about patterns and shit, bro. Come on. Like, bro, that's dead. That's dead.
I
Like,
thought maybe NI inferior.
dude, that's
Uh,
completely you're
me.
talking about shining a light through a medium and how it had 7 colors and how it actually had patterns with people. What the hell are you talking about, bro? There's no ESTP is talking like that. ESTPs have NE demon, dude. NE demon. That's the
Uh,
emotion. Yeah. I thought you were ENTP going in as soon as you started talking, then it just kept going. And I was like, oh, he's ENFP. So I was actually wrong when I first looked at when
this
I
is weird. Like honestly, this is like I almost feel like cognitive dissonance right now, a little
yeah,
bit
yeah.
for real. Because like honestly, well, here's the thing. I'm not gonna name drop or anything, but I did get typed by a practitioner
Mhm.
that is reputable or whatever, and they told me I was an ESTP.
Yeah,
And
you're using any a lot.
huh?
So you're using any a lot.
Way too
Well,
many.
maybe I'm aspiring any. I'm just kidding.
No, dude. No, no, no.
Maybe I'm using that any demon just really well. Maybe it's
Yeah.
angelic at this point.
People don't use the shadow function that well. Like they just don't. Um, but hey, man, credible typer, bro. They're all trash, bro. I'm just gonna be honest with you. They're all fucking trash. They're trash, trash, trash. So many people come here and they're like, yeah, man. I got this type over there. I think somebody said they were ESTP. We typed in ENTJ. Dude literally is talking about fucking books, referencing books all the time, and talking about ESTP. Like, bro, that's not even fucking close. Okay.
I
So
guess I kind of also type myself based off of like stereotypes because with ESTPs, they're supposed to be like, very good with sports and whatever. Dude, I'm really good at sports, man. I can pick up anything and straight up like be really good at it. I got
what's
really good at skateboarding and this truck driving thing, dude. I mean, I finished the top of my class. I mean, there, like, I don't know. That's why I also figured I would, I had high SE, not SE demon. You know,
Very interesting. My brother is an ENTP, and he was literally the best athlete in our school. He was the best, like one of the best athletes, just in general. And he's SE demon, dude. Like, and like, I suck ass at sports, and I'm SE child. So,
so what's your view on ENFPs then?
dude, they're like the most motivational motherfuckers on the planet. Like, they can motivate anybody to do anything. Like,
You know what's funny? I actually thought that that was a gift that I had before I even found out about type was, you know, in Romans 12, it says the encourager.
Yeah, yeah. ENFP, bro. Easy money. Easy money. You
Dude,
got
you know
that.
what's funny too? My ex-fiance, I swear she's an ENFP, bro, as well. I mean, I wouldn't say as well. I gotta look into this more, man.
Yeah. Bro, I'm gonna post a video, bro. You're free to watch it again and watch just
All
how
right.
initiating progression you are. SINE and TFI, dude. It's just is there. NE is like all over you, dude. There's no
I
way.
guess I'll read the comments too.
Yeah, see,
Yeah,
WTE.
Thomas usually goes back and watches it.
You see that? You're trying
What
to
was
use
that, Shelly?
Oh, I was saying that Thomas usually goes and watches them and puts his comments in. But I have another question. So, like in a business setting or like in a work setting, where do you see yourself? Where do you fit in?
Well, before you do that, let me go and interject. When you said, "Yeah, I'm gonna go look at the comments," it's kind of like you're not using internal logic right now. Like internal logic would you would use and be like, "Okay, this makes sense to me," but you're trying to go to the comments to figure out if other people agree. So it's more of a TE approach again. Okay, and it's showing that you have low TI again.
What do TI users do then?
Prove
Like, what
something.
would they do?
Logical consistency that they apply to things. Okay, if it's logically consistent, then they accept it. If it's not logically consistent, they will reject it.
Well, I think that's kind of foolish then to do. Just like if without verifying sources, that's.
Well,
I heard that that's what TI users do. Is that's one of their faults is they don't verify.
I think depending on the type, no one really verifies as much as they should. TE users, they don't use TI on things, so they could just take a credible source, and the credible source can be a don't know what the fuck they're talking about, you know. But they will accept it because they got achievements or attached to them. Instead of like actually looking at it and say, is this true or false? And going from there. So that's the difference. But you'll run into that. Like T users will you can kind of you'll see they can spread a lot of misinformation.
Dude, my wife is gonna be so freaking because like she 100% thinks I'm an ESTP because I made it made sense to her and everything, and I think she's an ESFJ, but now I'm like I don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
Like
The thing about typology is that a lot of people can bend in any type of way to kind of form and make sense of anything. But man, like I said, we post the videos, we do the same thing every time, man. Every time. You can
I know that's why I actually started liking your videos, man. And I don't know if you remember me commenting on your stuff, but I've watched a lot of your stuff and I definitely agreed with it because it's sound is how I get from your stuff.
we run the same system over and over again. We ain't changing the
It's
system.
very simple.
It's not like we jumping outside the system. It's very consistent. And yeah, man, ENFP, dude, ESTPs are
That's
direct.
weird,
And they're
bro. I'm telling you this.
super concrete, dude. Like Steph Curry about put me to sleep the other day typing. Like, oh my God.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
So
don't like that kind of style either. I like a little bit of color, a little
yeah, it's
vibrancy.
called figurative expression. So figurative expression would also go under abstract yet again. So you would get hit again for abstraction. And ESTPs are concrete. So
What did I just say? That was it. What again?
so you like to add flavor to things. That's figurative expression.
Really?
Yeah.
I like it, dude. Honestly, I swear my friend is an ENFJ, and maybe that's why we get along really well. because like we could laugh all night, dude. Like seriously, we could talk all night long.
So you probably
Huh?
can make anybody laugh, man. You're a funny guy, man. ENFPs, man, they can light up the room, man. They can
Well,
make it.
that's pretty cool. I kind of like that. I'm happy that you're like saying some good things about the type and not like, yeah, that type annoys the fuck out of me. Like how you do with other types.
Verbal agility, man. They have that verbal agility where they could just like light up the room. ENTPs, ENFP, any dumb thing to do.
What, Shelly, what did you have to say again? What was your question?
Oh, just in, I guess, a business or work where you see yourself in that sort of setting. But do you find, I guess, would you find it important to, if you were put in a position of like a supervisor role, would you find it important to like be above the other employees, or do you think you'd want to like help them out and work with them?
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely not lording over anybody. I would rather come up underneath them and lift them up. But I mean, a lot of my views, like I said, have been shaped from the gospel, and that's Jesus for real.
Yeah, so one of the things I just read in a book was talking about how ENFPs don't really put a lot of I guess weight on I guess being, you know, a supervisor to other people that they want to help. Anyways, that's what I was aiming that at. I can't find the work, sorry.
Yeah, I think when it came to like getting promoted, because I've never actually been in a managerial position. I mean, with my uncle, but that was only his business, and it was like only over like a couple guys and on the roof and everything, doing roofing and stuff. But yeah, I was gonna get a supervisor position at that call center job I had, and honestly, dude, everything led to me going to FedEx. Like, I'm not just like saying like I'm not like a religious guy. I have so many things with God just pointing things out to me and like moving me here and there. Like my car I bought it for $500 and it broke down on me and I had to get an Uber up to uh this city away from me. It was like 20 minutes away from me. And it was like $20 every time I had to needed to get a ride. And so it was very hard to get to work. And during that time, a friend of mine who worked at that same place quit his job and actually went to FedEx and then was hitting me up a couple months later asking me if I wanted to come work. And so I didn't know what the heck to do because I was getting offers to be a supervisor, but FedEx also was going to make me more money. And so I was like, man, I didn't know what to do. So I just kept paying for the Uber rides and my car broke down on me. Dude, it straight broke down on me it was like the last three digits was 777. And to me, that's like, I can't overlook that kind of stuff.
Dude, that's yet
Not only
again
that,
another pattern. You're on a journey.
was that?
You're on a journey again, and yet again another pattern just popped out of your mouth. That's any
Okay,
again.
I know. I was just explaining like the whole thing though.
Just, you know,
I don't know. I just felt like it was it's just to the situation, I guess. I don't know.
No, it's not a problem. He was just pointing out that you're using
Oh,
that
okay.
you're not an ESTP. That's all.
Okay. All right. Well, so like I'm just saying that like because I get to a point. It's not like I'm just going on to something, but because I do come to a point. And that's also why I thought maybe I'm direct. I just like to go through the process, which obviously and now when I think that it's like
if you like
process over outcome.
if you're going through the process, then that's
Yeah.
outcome. So you'd be eliminated yet again, man.
So the book says that assets to a group, they're unconcerned with pecking order. Anyways, about ENFPs.
What book is that?
It's a projection and personality development via the 8-function model.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. All right, awesome. I'll look back to that later.
Yeah, that's another TE approach. But yeah, bro, we got to go. We got another type of session.
All right, bro.
It's a pleasure, man.
Cool.
Be in the group, brother.
All right. Thanks, man. See ya.
Problem.